So, Beatdamarket, welcome to the show. Thank you for
Hi,
joining in.
pleasure being here.
Great. People in the community are really interested in your story. You are a really prominent Stacey Burke style trader, consistently hitting trades, posting trades. I mean, we are trading together for more than 1.5 years, I found, right? So great companion with that. And people are really interested in your story and in your secret. So maybe you tell us a bit about yourself, about your background, how you started trading, and what you initially was attracted by trading, and shed some light about yourself.
Okay. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure, like I said. I think I'm definitely a trader in progress. Still making a lot of mistakes, but I'm seeing the benefits and getting better trading around you guys in this Discord and learning from you guys as well. So I was an aspiring footballer. I left school early at about 16 years old, and I wanted to become a footballer. And I got to quite a high level in the UK and for a Premiership team. Yeah, but I didn't quite make it to a professional stance. So I ended up paying part-time and went back to uni and got involved in filmmaking. But later on down the line, COVID was a big thing. So I wanted to basically try and figure out what I could do online. And I've always been interested in stocks and shares and the world of trading. So I got involved and started studying. And of course, through some personnel online, especially a guy called TraderNut, I started looking, I started listening and watching some of his videos of aspiring traders, and came across a young man called SB, who was probably the only guy that actually really caught my attention for some reason. I don't know. But he caught my attention, and then I started basically watching his videos, I think in 2022, halfway through 2022. Took about 3 or 4 months just watching as many videos as I could of him, trying to make an understanding of his early videos, which to some people is quite hard to understand. And then I learned a little bit online about market structure, of course, and also learned a little bit about SMC as well. But Stacey Burke, SB trading, was the first thing and the only probably thing that I know. And I think just before Christmas, I managed to learn about MetaTrader 2022. And then I brought his course at Christmas. So
how long have you been trading before you came across Stacey Burke?
Say it again.
How long have you been trading before you came across Stacey?
Nothing. No trading, nothing. 2022 is when I started.
That was your
Absolutely
first thing.
No history. No history. Just revising about stocks and shares, got involved in stocks and shares, then started buying some stocks, didn't know what I was doing. Just thought about how I felt. Read a little bit about Benjamin Graham and Warren Buffett, Bill Ackman, all of these guys online, trying to sort of just mimic them, the usual way people do it. One, I lost, and then I wanted to get involved in this sort of technical analysis, and I watched lots of videos online. I just didn't find anything that really sort of felt that was real, because there's a lot of nonsense online, right? And learned some stuff from market structure, some basic stuff, and then I just came across this guy on TraderNut. There were a few guys on there, but SBU, for some reason, I have no idea, he was the guy that I just said, you know what, I'm gonna learn. And when I saw his videos, I was like, man, what have I got myself into? Because there's so many videos, and it was crazy at the beginning, but I kept at the process, and I'm glad I did it.
Okay, great. No, I mean, Stacey can be really addictive at the beginning. You really feel that he knows what he's talking about, and you want to watch more and get into that. I've been at that stage as well.
Exactly.
So are you?
Yeah.
You're not trading full time, right? So you have
No.
a job in parallel, and you just kind of slicing out your daily routine and trade in parallel, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the good thing that I have is that I'm 50% in my office. So me and my brother run a property company in the family business. So I'm always in front of my computer. So I'm only on the field when I have to. If not, I'm just dealing with like tenants and some paperwork, and I've got my screen in front of me. So it's live. So I can easily trade when I can, which is an advantage. Some people don't have that luxury. But I'm not full time. I'm not full time. That's almost full time.
Okay, but you have the right slots to be fully focused on the operation. That's great. Okay,
Exactly.
So what's your major kind of elements or strategies do you use out of Stacey Burke? I mean, what did you pick for yourself, and how would you describe your trading approach?
So after learning, I think it's very important. After learning this system, which I'm still learning, to be fair, after learning the system, it was a good 5-6 months. I think what I ended up doing I think it was just before the end of this year, was to just take everything apart and just start with the simplest form of the whole strategy. Because I remember when you listen to SB, he mentions that, look, all he really needs is his levels and timings. I mean, you could just do with that and trade inside session trades and session trades. So I thought to myself, okay, you know what? There are a few confluences. Let me just start with the basics, 1, 2, 3, and add if I really need to. And I started just seeing things from that aspects. It's kind of being, the 0-0s, previous day high, previous day lows, and CLP. And just looking and understanding your bias in that weekly template, and then making sure you can enter at some of these key levels if it persists, if it works out on the day in your given bias. And also understanding that, before dumping, make sure you get a little pump, whether it's 3 candles or whatever. Before going long, make sure you get a little dump. So if you just take it on that axis, I think there's a whole lot you can actually do. And then you can add a little bit more info. People talk about peak formations, and obviously with your TCC8, with multi-time frame stuff, you can just assure yourself that things are lining up fantastically. So you take out some of the stuff that you just don't need. You keep the ones that you're comfortable with, but you keep it with the bare minimum. And that's just how I've worked inside out, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does, actually. I mean, this is what we also discussed a lot in the past, right? That the setups develop from the lower time frames to the higher one. I think this is something many don't get. Many kind of take a signal and then they force the signal, but they don't understand that the signal is just a potentiality on a higher time frame. And what you really should be trading is the setup on the day. And this starts with levels, timings, behavior, price, right? And so this is where everything starts. And once you don't have that, you can forget all the rest, right? I mean, this is
exactly
kind of the logic. Yeah. Okay. So how do you identify your trades? I mean, how do you kind of mark your charts and pick the ones that you are watching during the session? How does this look like?
So obviously the night before is quite important for me. I have a whole lot of lines on my charts. I don't know if people see them. I have, yellow, and then you have red lines for inside days, and then I've got my closing prices, blue lines mainly. I don't know if I'm going to change that in the future, because you're quite your chart's really quite kind of plain, and I don't know if I prefer that better. All these lines are a bit clustering. But what I try to do is the night before is to get my the best possible sort of like trades that I might be able to take on the next days, for signal days or whatever, or day threes, or highlight inside days. So I have my checklist. I don't want it to be more than like 5 or 6, and then I see how that develops during Asia and London, and then I will filter as I come to the screen, maybe in the first hour, just to check out what's happening. And then obviously now I don't like coming to the screen until about the second hour. And if there is a trade, then I might take it then. But if not, I'm looking at that sort of that third hour time. So if I'm honest, the inside days and the 3-day-long trades are probably at the bottom of my list. But if I have any first green, first red, or peak formation high, peak formation low on a Monday and Tuesday for a blow off on a Wednesday, those are the ones I like to really sort of focus on if they ever kind of come up. So I'll just mark that the night before, and then I'll come to the screen and I'll be watching that maybe every half an hour as it develops before I sit down for good and go to trade. But now, after like coming up to 2 years, I've got to a point where I just seem like this third hour. You've pushed me on that as well, Stacey, as you've pushed me on that. And it's taken me time to actually get there, be like, hey, these guys, you got to listen to these guys. They're so right. It's just better for me. That could be my first hour. I don't want to confuse people now, but that could be the best of my first hour window. And then the 4th hour being the second, and then the 5th hour being my third. Those are fade outs. I think about a year ago, you said to me, Steve, you seem to like these fade outs. And I don't know if it's towards the end of the year, you can get a lot of opportunities later on. I don't know what it is technically and why. You probably understand better than me, but that third hour is probably where I want to look to really start focusing, and then looking to take a trade if I get the universal entry and everything.
Yeah, because I mean, there's all the traps are gone, right? I mean, people are really anxious in getting into trades, and they get trapped in the first 2 hours, and then end of the session, most of them are already done, right? And they are wrecked, and they are not confident anymore to take trades, and then they are moving it, right? Then the move starts.
Exactly.
We discussed already last year, as you said, the runners out of the session can be huge. So if you let a runner in there and let it run to end of session, end of day, that can be massive moves. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Exactly. You said I remember you saying that to me, and I've never forgotten. I also just want to add just quickly that I remember trying to take moves in the first hour. Do you remember that? The gap time? And sure. Remember that, and that has completely gone now. I'm not that trader anymore. I was taking first hour trades, and you, I think, quite politely said, hey, look, you might want to wait until the second hour. No, because those trades are they're basically traps. And I didn't listen for a couple of months. Well, I was, but I wasn't. I don't know what trance I was in, but then eventually, with your tutelage, and then SP as well, later on, because he's added that later on, but you were the first one to do that for me. I've changed my game.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that Stacey now emphasizes this also a lot, right? I mean, he has been doing a lot of first and second hour trades, especially on currencies, but with his new friend Steven, he really tells people now a lot. It's not you,
obviously. Who is this Steven? I need to meet this Steven. Who is this guy?
Nobody knows who he is, but he seems to trade third hour and breakouts, right? I mean, that
Do you think
makes
it's
a lot of sense.
a figment of his imagination? I'm sure it is. Because who is this guy? Surely he would have come out. Steven. Who is this Steven?
No, actually, I think that he sometimes shows up in the community section of Stacey Burke's page. Yeah. He's a real. I mean, maybe he's still a fake one, but he at least discusses on the community section.
You're right. Yeah.
Okay, so what people are interested in, maybe you can elaborate on that. Was a specific question yesterday, I think, that you kind of started with the first red day signals, and then from that you kind of branched out into the whole playbook. Is that something that happened like this? And how did you kind of crack the system for you? I mean, you said already you kept it simple and made timings, levels, behavior of price, but how did you progress there, maybe for people to understand it and find out how they should do it? I mean, did you make a binder with all the pages, or did you, I don't know, what was your process doing that, and what was your secret here?
I think it's pretty much one of the easiest trades to understand. He's got quite a lot of videos on it as well. So I think that was the first one that really that stood out for me. And once you go on the charts, you go back and back test, or you see it live, you actually start seeing, oh wow, this reversals can be quite useful. First green days they work. Oh my god, this guy is like unbelievable. I don't know. I don't think it's a new thing, but it was certainly new to me, and I thought it was the easiest to understand, basically. So the problem I had, the first green day for a while, was that sometimes they didn't come off. And I wanted to know why. Why were they not coming off? Obviously, I don't know for sure if you can answer that question, but there are some things that you can do to try and understand whether, okay, this is a good first red day, first green day, or hey, I'm not falling for this trap. I'm staying away. I mean, we're going to have a continue with the trend or whatever, or just stay away. So what I do try to just advise people is I try and identify this day and the actual day of the trade, the third day. Here was another issue. If that previous day low was broken, then that pop-up, that could be a problem. That could be a problem basically for me. So that became a problem for me actually, because I know Stacey teaches that he wants that break and then he wants the pump and then the dump. But I started seeing and looking back and finding out, hey, if you just get a pump where price can take out some of the previous days and players, then quite frequently that short can happen a lot. So I prefer those first green day and red days than to the ones that break the low, because you have shorts in play, and I don't know. It gave me a little bit of problem at the time, and I think I actually stopped pushing first green day red days for a little while before getting back into it. But yeah, first those signal days are very simple to understand, but you have to really try and watch and take your time, because they can be fakes on certain days. But I do prefer them on Wednesdays and maybe Thursdays.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I just recorded a video today where I go over the failed first red days and how the multi-time frame approach helps you to identify the setups that go the other way, because once they hit previous day low afterwards, they might do a fake out low, and then you have a dump and pump on the day, and then they just trap the first red day shorts and pull one more leg up, right? And then you are one of the
I've seen you take them as well. Again, you mentioned that to me. You mentioned that to me, and that's how I'm going to use your style as well as an advantage for me, to be able to, what people will say, counter trend, right? Counter trend. Take those trades. And a lot of people will ask me, Steve, why did you take that? It was the first red day. Why do you? I'm like, just ask TC88. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because sometimes you just see it, right? I mean, this is something I added also the last month, even more, that before I enter a trade, I look at it and think about what is everyone else thinking, right? And if you're on a Friday and with equity open, it pushes down and it confirms a short, then I'm sometimes thinking, maybe I wait another 5 minutes and see if this shorts get trapped and then just go long. I did this a couple of times in the last weeks and it worked perfectly. You just wait for them to get trapped and then you do exactly the other thing.
Nice. Is there is there a moment that you're for sure that, hey, this is trending, this is going long, that you're going to take it? Is there a moment that you're sure of that?
No, I'm never sure. Actually, I'm never sure. But what I want to have is the feeling that people are doing the opposite. That's really something I included into my entry process. So, for example, the last days, all these continuation trades with the large dumps, I always thought people are really, I'm sure they are buying the low for gold or something. I'm so sure they are just trying to buy this low. And then you wait for a fake out high and go short. And they buy the low and then they get all wrecked. It happens all the time. It's really interesting.
Nice. I like that. I understand that. Nice.
Yeah, great. So maybe looking at challenges and lessons learned. I mean, what has been your biggest challenge or setback in trading? I mean, what was your biggest nut to crack, and how did you overcome it?
Obviously, the word patience is an obvious thing, and I'd like to be able to pick up some other interesting stuff, but patience. You're so eager to learn. I think beginners, when I was starting, there's excitement and everything that maybe you're getting it and everything, but that patience and being calm, that was something that was a problem for me because I wanted to just trade. You're a beginner, so you naturally want to trade, but then you then find out that hey, that's not really probably the best way to go about it. So you learn this in the progress. So that patience thing took, I would say, a good year, and that's a long time to really understand and listen to yourself. Yeah. But I think now it's probably getting out of trades early and holding trades. I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling with holding trades, and it's something that I need to definitely improve. Obviously, I said to a few people, and you probably know, scaling in and holding trades. It's I would love to be able to figure out a way to be able to just beat that. But I think the obvious thing is to take your trade, have your target, and leave the screen. I think it's going to be
that's what you're trying to do.
So difficult.
Time, right? I've seen you do this a lot. I remember we were discussing, and you said you are short gold or short oil or something, and I said, oh, then you're probably stopped out, and you said you don't know because you don't look at the moment.
I started.
We're already wrecked.
I've started to do it, but then you have that way of staying there. You just want to make sure, and I think it's terrible. But I think that if you can just incorporate that into, if I could beat that challenge, I think it will just help me mentally. I think, because there'll be some huge.
It's a good advice, and it's a good idea. Maybe not with the full position, but maybe kind of take. I mean, I'm not a fan of taking partials, but sometimes at the end of the week or so, it might make sense to just take off half or 3/4, and then let the rest just run to target or get stopped out. I mean, this I think makes sense. I mean, Stacey also does that in percent positions or something. I don't like it because I want to be flat end of the session, and once I'm with my family, I don't want to think about any trades anymore. But I think it makes sense to try some runners if you have the time and the patience for it. Okay. Great. So the other way around, what was the most important lesson you've learned in your career, would you say? What was the key aha moment and element?
With SB. So I think something to try and for people to get around, which took a little while again, is that loss is okay. I'm not afraid to lose. I'm not afraid to lose. Not that I want it to be a habit, but it's going to happen. and you can still be in profit in the week if you lose, of course. But that used to really mess with my head. I wanted to win all the time. That's a natural human thing. You said in one of your writings that blogs that some of the losses is part of the process, and you have to be able to just understand that. And once you do, things will be a little bit easier. I hope that kind of makes sense, because there's lots of negative things that can happen from losses, right? You know, revenge trading, getting annoyed, breaking your computer, not focusing. You got to be able to calm that down and be able to just deal with it very quickly and get on with maybe the next trade.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
That's something that's really important. And you try telling that to a new trader. I think it's quite difficult to.
Yeah, they don't get it. Yeah, that's true. You really have to. I mean, what helped me there also a lot is to do the stats around it. That you really kind of make statistics of your trades, and then look where the biggest drawdowns and biggest losses come from. And if you then see, if you just would have let this hit your stop loss with 1 R, then you would be still hugely profitable in the week. But this day kind of killed your profits of 2 weeks because you entered 5 more trades and were just revenge trading. So if you just would have left that, you would be in a perfect condition. So if you see that makes a big difference, I think. Yeah.
I think if you do that also, if you can do that, if you're doing that in demo, and you can look back at, well, what the hell am I doing? Why have I got so many trades on demo? What am I doing? You can now see, right, I need to cut that out. I need to cut that out, that nonsense out. That helps. So people don't have the patience to do that, and they don't know it yet until they know it. So if you can teach that first, if you really instill that in people first, it's going to come a long way, I think.
Yes, true. So what would be your advice for newer traders, how to overcome that? Right? I mean, if they start off, how can they accelerate this process and really get to it quicker? Maybe. What would be your advice?
To know it first, to get told it first. I think I was told a few things first. I do advise people first. Like, for instance, I might say this again. I had 2 people come up to me this week and say that they've been blowing up accounts and losing money. I'm like, okay, so what are you going to do? He said to me, he needs to pay his bills. So look, your mindset's not right, and this is part of it.
Right.
I need to change your. Don't make another trade. I need to change your mindset before you even start trading again. And you let them know first about it. They need to understand it. They need to give me feedback when they understand it, and then they need to then obviously act it out during sessions. It needs to be part of your process, right? You know. Did you revenge trade? How did you feel after? Did you leave the screen or whatever? You got to mark these things down and see how you behave. And once it becomes a habit, then I think it becomes a bit easier. But you got to let them know first that this is what's going to happen, and this is the way to, avoid it if it's possible. It's going to take a bit of time, but the quicker you get it done, then I think it's going to help you mentally. This is a mental game, like you said in my blogs. It is a mental game. I didn't know this at the beginning, but I'm really, really happy I understand it now. I'm really, really, really happy I understand it now.
Great. Yeah. No, I mean, to find out what you don't know is I think the biggest challenge at the beginning. You just don't know what you don't know, and this takes a long time until you go down the rabbit hole and really find out what you need to learn. That's pretty tricky to. At the beginning,
and you can find out the hard way, right, and lose a lot of money.
Exactly. I did.
I'm happy I haven't. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so maybe looking a bit ahead, what are your future plans and goals? I mean, where you want to take trading? You want to be a full-time trader? How long do you think are you away from it? You want to cancel your job at a certain stage? What are your plans?
That would be. I love this, so I think I'll always make this part of maybe 1 or 2 other businesses that I have. I think the entrepreneurial side of me coming out to Africa has opened a lot of doors. So I would love to be able to mix one or two other projects with this and be able to do this full time. It's exciting, but I know it's tough. I'm one of these realists that understands that to go full time is not easy, but you can get there. And once I can really better my process, as in scaling in and holding, I might want to go full time with stocks and day trading as well. So the stocks a little bit more easier because January to June, July, pretty much in, and you might alter your portfolio a little bit to whatever's happening during the economic year, and then you might buy more stocks, or sell stocks, or whatever. So that's on one side, and then you have the day trade. I think I've always said I would love to be that one good trade that it keeps coming out, singing in my head. That one good trade of an SB setup with large size. Taking one or two trades in a week and being done, or even one or two good trades in a month and kind of being done. I mean, the concept of being a multi-millionaire, or being able to buy my Lamborghini and my house with trading. I don't know if I'm going to be that great or that good. I mean, it's possible, but to make this another stream of cash flow on top of what I'm doing is something that, I would love to be. I hope I can get success from that. It'll be fantastic. I'm going in the right direction, I think. We've just got to figure it out, because that's what this is all about, right? You're not going to trade like SB. You have this little bit of his style now, and you got to make it your own. So that's what I want.
It has to become second nature, right? I mean, the process has to become muscle memory, and then once you're emotionally detached, I think everything is possible. I mean,
Exactly.
That's what Mark Douglas says. I mean, it's unlimited potential. It's just your beliefs. It's just in your head. So it is possible, of course.
Exactly.
So let's see. So maybe some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
What's your quick answers? What's your favorite indicator?
I don't have one.
You don't have one.
I don't have one. I don't have one.
Trading without indicators.
Is that an EMA an indicator? I mean,
EMA, yeah, I've seen your EMA, and the rest you'd make manually, right?
Is it? Yeah, it's just kind of manual. I think eventually I will do, though, obviously, because I'm still trying to perfect and learn TC88 method. I'm definitely going to be incorporating that. So I'm probably going to have your indicator, Predator.
Okay.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So I'll be the only one, and I'll take out some of my lines and everything, and just be doing it that way because I am understanding it better now. Not yet. I don't have one, but I will.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
Biggest trading inspiration. Who are you the biggest fan of, and who inspired you the most?
Obviously, SB.
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 Okay.
Look, so I'm the type of guy. I'm aware of these other guys. I've read a little bit, but if I have too much info, I struggle. I've always been like that. I struggle. I want to know this knowledge, but then I just struggle. That's just me. It's just me. So I know a little bit about these other guys, of course, Peter Brand, all the guys that you follow. But for me, it's probably more in that stock world. Obviously, I've read about Buffett, Bill Ackman. You have Philip Lafond, these hedge fund guys that just, they get given 40 million 20 years later. They're running like 20 billion fund. I just think it's just incredible what they're doing. Just kind of read stuff on them online and videos on more of these stock guys and actually the trading guys. But SB, I would say, SB and you guys on this fantastic platform, you guys that I read about, and I'm there reading. I may not be answering a lot, but I remember reading and listening to and checking stuff online as well. And you mentioned stuff that I don't know. So, SB, you guys and these guys in the stock world, really.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, one word to describe your trading style.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if it's aggressive.
Maybe
I have
aggressive.
no idea. Good question. I don't know. It's aggressive. I don't know, because I'm trading a lot. Because I do trade a lot, and there's a reason for that. I want to open up on that because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are probably asking, like, this guy trades a lot. I think there was a time that you traded quite a bit, 2023.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Check out. I was doing like first green day, and I was getting annoyed, and I was like just breaking my computer. And, highs of the week, lows of the week. So you tried trading quite a lot. It kind of inspired me a bit. Like, so these guys are this guy's taking trades a lot. Maybe I can break this rule. But obviously, you change. It's like one or two. So now it's funny. I was thinking like one trade maybe, and then now I'm taking a few more. But I'm doing this because I do have those setups. I'm more confident, and I am trading a lower lot size than what some people might think. I'm not this pro where I'm on 2 lot size, 3 lot size on gold. I do have lower lot sizes. I'm taking my time to get to that point where I'm like, okay, you know what? I can get on 1 lot size, 2 lot size now. I'm ready. I'm really ready for that. I'm really ready for that. It might sound a bit funny because I'm hitting these trades, but I think that there's a mental thing to also changing that lot size, adding more money into your private account, changing that lot size, and it takes a little bit of time. So I can take those trades. Money management as well, insight, what you're willing to lose. And understanding all of that is very, very important. But I can take those trades because my setups to come up, and when I see low-hanging fruits, if I see those shapes, and I didn't answer this properly at the beginning, I want to add that these shapes, I'm predominantly seeing shapes that I like. Low-hanging fruits is the way that I want it to form. I can hit it. And the reversals, day 3, of course. And then obviously the pump and dumps within the session, your templates. I'm seeing those shapes, and it's those shapes that I trade. So I can hit those. If I see them and I'm confident, I am not afraid to hit them.
Yeah, that's what I would say. You're an aggressive trader, and it's a real hit and run trading style. I mean, sometimes you catch crazy lows, for example, that I wouldn't take. I would wait for information, and then you just hit it. It's at the level, it's at the timing, and you boom, you take it.
But those could come in the third hour. I think you've taken, as a third hour trade you took, and it was quite low. I think it was quite.
Sometimes
the price had gone, but it was quite low. The type of trade that I could take, and I know some people have asked me. It's quite good that you registered. Have asked me, that's really low. I can take previous day lows sometimes on a Friday because that's the sell day. I can take that because I think it's not going to come back, so I can get in them. There's reasons why I can get into them, but sometimes it's chasing. Right? I've chased, and I'm in, and I'm like, oh my god, why did I do that? And so I get it. It's like that.
Okay, understood. Yeah, very cool, very cool. So maybe to wrap it up, what are your final thoughts? Is there any final message to the listeners, to the guys on the platform? What would you recommend them? Anything?
Yes, that's pretty much it. I think for a certain time you're going to have to listen to SB, listen to him. Because, I listen to him, but sometimes you're not listening to him. Because I know some of his videos can be a little bit repetitive and can go off on some of these tangents, and you're just like, well, but then inside, there are these nuggets that you kind of, after a year, you get the flow of things, you get the point. So, but at the beginning, listen to him, look at his posts, listen to his mindset resets. Because I wasn't doing that in community for about the first 6 months, would you believe it? But when I started listening, it improved me a lot. Watch his posts, look at his trades, look at his entries, and listen to what he's saying, because there are really important nuggets in there that you can take that may improve you. And keep with the process. Don't give up. Hindsight pays, patience. Same old stuff.
Yeah. All right. thanks very much. This was terrific.
Thank
Also
you,
the first
man.
time
Thank
we
you for having me.
spoke live, right? We
I
never
hope this
spoke
was
live
helpful.
before. We chatted for thousands of hours, I think. But
No, I
we never.
haven't. No, I've always thought I could speak quite well. I've never done a live thing before. It's my first time, so I was wondering how it was going to come out. But I just hope that this as entertaining can help.
Oh, I think so. I
people
think
a little
this
bit
helps
as well.
people a lot. Yeah. So thanks for your time.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to more interviews as well. I'll be waiting for the next guy that you have next.
Let's see. Let's make this a habit.
Cool,
All right.
cool.
Have a nice day.
You too. Good luck.